Megavan, and welcome back to another trailer reaction. This is an official trailer to House of the Dragon, not to be confused with House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, House of a Thousand Corpses, but this is House of the Dragon. It is a prequel to Game of Thrones, and I thought Game of Thrones was great. It ended okay. It ended. A lot of people hated it, and yeah, okay, it's recording, and I thought it ended okay. I didn't like necessarily the direction though they went with Daenerys, making her just suddenly go insane, or just even, I know people are saying they should have made her go insane slowly. Have this at like maybe a full 10 episodes and make it either go slowly or even get another season or two to really show that progression of her insanity. But I feel like everything that they've done to build up Daenerys, they should just not have made her go insane. She was very noble, and she kind of had like a code that she lived by, and I kind of like that. And then suddenly she just snapped. Now I know it's like part of her Targaryen, was it? Family, that he's known as a Mad King, and Jamie Lannister, of course, killed the Mad King. It's been a while, so forgive me if my lore is a bit off, but yeah. Anyways, I felt that the beginning few seasons or so were a little slow. I understand, there's supposed to be a lot of, story building and character development and plot twists and everything like that, but I feel like when you put a little bit too much into it, it kind of becomes pretentious, like it's not really necessary. You're just doing it to really make things more convoluted than what they need to be. It's a sword and sorcery fantasy flick. It's great to have some story and explain some things, but you don't have to go into too much depth. Go in depth, but not super too much in depth. It's a little hard thing maybe to try to get that right. I'm not a writer. I don't know how exactly you'd get that done. But if they were going to put that much story into it, maybe cut a little bit more of the fat out and add a little bit more action. Doesn't have to be a full-blown, full-scale action, but add like a minute, 2 minute fight interjected in there, and make it a bit of entertaining with some Chinese Game of Thrones sword and sorcery fantasy kung fu action. I use it as a description. When I say Chinese kung fu action, not necessarily Chinese from like a Shaw Brothers thing. It's like when you describe the way an orange smells. This is just my descriptive word for some fanciful, awesome, acrobatic swordplay. The action sequences you see in Lord of the Rings, I consider to be kung fu action, especially Legolas. His kung fu is strong, if you know what I'm saying. Now, Lord of the Rings, yeah, that might have a little bit of that too, with the story, and it's like, wow, ran out of space. Yeah, this is quite bad. I have to work on that. But anyways, as I was saying with Lord of the Rings, yeah, the movie is like, what, 3.5 hours long, 4 hours long. And most people might say, yeah, well, that movie series, that movie trilogy, and The Hobbit as well, is infamous for, having too much plot, too much story that dragged out the film. And I guess to a certain point, I do somewhat agree, but to be quite honest, you feel it, to me, a lot more in something like Game of Thrones. The Witcher, though, that's moving at a pretty nice pace. I like that. I feel that the Witcher series is going to surpass Game of Thrones very quickly. Already, just that first season alone, I'm digging it more than the entirety of Game of Thrones. That's just me, of course. That's just me. And it's not that, I'm being influenced by, how they say, like, with the younger generation, no attention span or anything. No, I do have the attention span. I do like, of course, film noir and stuff like that, and I don't know, Fritz Lang's M. I'm trying to think of what else. The Third Man, I like things like that. But I just, for something like this, I think that you just, especially this type of genre, it can kind of become, like the fantasy genre can become kind of boring rather quickly. Take a look at how, things like these kind of started off with, like, something like Conan the Barbarian. It's a fantasy flick. Anyways, enough of that. Let's go ahead and check this out and see what we're dealing with. It looked like in the thumbnail that it was Matt Smith from Doctor Who, something that I've never seen, but I know the guy because I've seen him in other things, like one or two other things here and there. One thing in particular, right off the bat, I know that face. He was the Terminator in Terminator Genesis, who converted John Connor in the future as Reese was Reese, like that new actor who took over the role. No one can be like now. How come I can't remember his friggin' name now? Like I have to switch gears when I'm thinking about something. The original guy who played Reese. Fuck, I can't believe I can't remember it. Linda Hamilton, and I don't want to waste time. Anyways, the name escapes me, but he converted, as John Connor was going back in time, he converted, as Reese was going back in time, he converted John Connor into that new technology of Terminator. Anyways, let's go check this out. 200 years before the fall of the throne.
Gods. Kings.
A dynasty reigned.
Fire. And blood.
Could that be Matt Smith? Well, they have a black guy now, in Game of Thrones.
Make us kings. Dragons did.
Okay. Yeah, in Game of Thrones, there was only one black dude, and it was like a somewhat earlier season when Daenerys and her crew went to some, I don't remember the place, it's been so long, but he was the black dude that was in The Last Legion, which was like a prequel to King Arthur, and that starred Colin Firth, that one, and I think her name was like Aswari something. She was an Indian. She knew Kalipayat in the film. That was a pretty good film, I thought. Everyone hated on it, but I thought it was pretty good. But anyways, he was in there. He was part of Colin Firth's team. That dude, and he betrayed Daenerys, and she locked him up in a vault with the chick that was on her team, and locked her up in there. So it's quite nice, to see a black dude in there. Like Lord of the Rings doesn't have any black or Chinese or Indian, but hence it's more European based, so okay, that's fine. So this is quite nice to see. And you want to know something? Oh wait, let's see. Are we going to get some? Okay, the choreography better be really good. I'll tell you why. When they edit, the way they edit this, you can see it like it has potential to have some good choreography, like with Stargirl, when they show the next episode, when there's going to be like an action sequence and a fight. The way they edit that, I think like, oh, maybe it's not going to be so good, but they know how to edit it in just the right spot, not to show all the sweet stuff, in the choreography. Because when that fight came, just like in this latest season of Stargirl, when you saw Cindy's newly made ISA versus Courtney and her JSA, Stargirl, that fight in that school, top notch Chinese Kung Fu action, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, this could potentially, maybe they learn from their mistakes and they're going to add some really kick-ass Chinese Kung Fu choreography. And I wanted to see... Where is it? Is it more this way? Are these black guys, are they Targaryens as well? Because they have the white hair? They could be Targaryens. So that's kind of interesting that they're integrating that. I know that they follow the rule of as the famous quote goes, if you can't keep it in your pants, keep it in the family kind of thing. So they fuck their own family, which is quite bad. Incest. I can't say agree with that. But hence is what they're known for. Same thing with the Lannisters, right? With Jaime fucking his sister, quite bad and pretty sickly. But anyways, yeah, this does look interesting. I'll maybe give it a try. We already know how it all ends. I'm not really a fan of prequels, as I was beginning to say at the beginning of this. Even initially, though, with The Hobbit, because it ended in a way that I liked, it was really interesting to see that. And plus, I have history with The Hobbit because of the Rankin Bass animated series that I seen way back in the 80s, even though it predates that, I believe. So that held a special place for me to see those Hobbit films. The prequels, same thing with Star Wars. But I have to report, though, after seeing them now and in retrospect, and even back then, I thought the choreography in the prequels of Star Wars was quite sweet. I like that, quite badass, There's like an epitome of Chinese Jedi Kung Fu lightsaber action. Anyways, that's it. Hope you all enjoyed, and yeah.